Welcome to Residential Tech Talks. I'm Jeremy Glowacki, Executive Editor of Residential Tech Today. On this week's podcast, Manuel Schoenfeld joins us from Brooklyn, New York, where he is founder and CEO of PowerX. Launched in 2020, PowerX is an environmental tech startup with the goal of providing homeowners with knowledge and control of their utility usage. PowerX sensors collect data about a home's electricity, heat, and water use at a rate of more than 1 million times per second. Machine learning then uses this data to determine which devices are the most wasteful and provides actionable solutions to make a home more efficient. Manu, hello, and thanks for joining me today to help us learn more about your company.
Jeremy, thanks so much for having me.
Well, I wanted to kind of kick things off by talking a little bit about your background before we talk about the company PowerX, because I received a little note about your brand, and I get a lot of pitches for new tech, but it sounded intriguing. There was one little hook there we'll get to about water heaters and battery storage, and that was intriguing. So it was a good hook. And then I wanted to learn who's behind this company. So I started looking into your LinkedIn and your background, your bio. And I saw things like McKinsey and World Bank and Morgan Stanley. And then I looked into educational background further, and there's McCoy Scholar at Harvard and Wharton School of Business. And I was just like, who is this guy? And how can he look so young and have such a background? And I think that it's quite impressive. I don't want to embarrass you, but how have you fit so much in such a short amount of time, it seems to me?
Well, thanks very much for actually taking a look. It's really nice to hear that. I'm not that young. I think that is part of the solution to the puzzle. But the second one really is that in everything I've done, there was always a mission or passion behind. So, for example, the studies I did were in international development. They were on machine learning and AI. So that was a passion I came out with from my studies at Harvard, as you say. And then when I went further to like companies like the World Bank and McKinsey and Morgan Stanley, it was actually a very similar passion, like this, intersection of having machine learning algorithms, having AI, having new technologies and high tech, really, that does something good for the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I could use it at Morgan Stanley, for example, researching renewable technologies. I could use it at the World Bank, and then finally also at McKinsey, where actually I was working at this nexus, of high tech, of social sector, and then also of energy efficiency and water efficiency. And really that also in the end led me to PowerX. So the last project I did for McKinsey was in the Middle East for a large oil and gas client who wanted to make its processes greener, more renewable.
Okay.
And yeah, it really struck me because they had like a lot of money, millions of dollars to put on the line to make their processes greener, but we couldn't find good solutions. Now climate change, is knocking on our doors down.
Yeah.
And I said, if I want to follow my passion here, I need to jump, and I need to be part of the solution, and that's how PowerX got founded.
And there's a note in some of the information that I read where it's talking about that work on advising governments and private sectors on innovative energy solutions, and the reference is power to X, hydrogen to chemicals, solar to cooling. What does power to X mean? It sounds like that's where the company name came from. So what's that terminology actually mean?
That's a fantastic question. Power to X means that you take power, like for example, electricity, and you convert it to some variable X. So this X can be hydrogen, so hydrogen is a gas, it can be heat, it can be many different forms of, energy. Now, when you think about power, the equation has changed a lot over the past years. say 20, 30 years ago, power came primarily from, let's say, gas power plants, coal plants, and so on. And it would always cost a lot of money to produce it. Nowadays, when you think about solar or wind, solar, the sun just shines, wind just blows. So there are like these times in the day that electricity is nearly free. Like virtually the sun shines, you have the solar fields installed, so you have this bucket of free electricity. What do you do with it? And that's where PowerX comes into play. You take this electricity and you convert it to something valuable. You can store it in batteries. That's what Tesla does. Or you can convert it by, for example, it's a bit of a difficult process, but you can use electricity to break water into hydrogen and oxygen. And that's how you use this power to convert it into hydrogen, a very valuable gas.
Okay. Now, I guess we probably don't want to put off talking about PowerX as a company too much longer, or people might get lost in thinking this is something else entirely. I wanted to really dive into what you're doing. I've watched the video, I've read about it. It looks like it's a combination of sensors, an app or interface, a web interface, power and things like that go into it. But how would you say you would walk someone through, just if you're really making an introduction of what your company is, before we get into the details and talk about some of the more specific things of how it works? But what's the goal there, and how are you putting the pieces together initially?
Lovely. PowerX is actually a line of products that does two things. So first, it allows you as a consumer to optimize utility usage and even optimize it automatically for some part. And second, it helps you to know exactly what's going on in your home right now. For example, how much water does your washing machine use, or whether your electric vehicle is charging right now. So if I were to go more into, like, say, the technical realm of it, PowerX really tries to, by letting you know this and by also, optimizing utility usage, the first goal of PowerX is save you money. So that's kind of going after your wallet, helping you with your wallet. And the second goal is optimizing your carbon footprint, making sure that you are more in sync with nature, and making sure that your carbon emissions are reduced.
So as you get into what the pieces are that go into it, like I said, you have those sensors. So you would attach one of your sensors to your electrical panel in the home. You would attach another one, as far as I understand it, to the water heater, and then another to a water access point. Is that what am I forgetting there?
Exactly. So how it works technically is that you have these three sensors: PowerX electricity, PowerX water, and PowerX heater. And PowerX electricity, you can just clamp on, very easy, non-invasive, simple to install, clamp onto your electric panel. Then PowerX water, again, you can simply clamp onto your pipe. And what's really amazing with that is that it's one of the very world first, really, water sensors that you don't have to cut the pipe with. It works with different pipe material. It's really precise. It measures the flow going through the pipe just by looking into the pipe with ultrasound, like you would into a pregnant belly. And then you also have PowerX heater, where you see what a water heater is doing and how much water heat they use. And then PowerX is actually able, not only by using these three sensors, to like tell you and make transparent everything that's happening for you in your home, but also help you optimize it, partly completely automatically, virtually saving you money, from day one, and paying for itself without you even realizing. And secondly, by giving you really, really tailored tips, like, for example, hey, there's this device that's always on, vampire drain. It virtually drains money out of your home without you even using it. If you switch it off, $20 in your pocket every month right here. Or like, hey, we found your toilet is leaking. Like, if you fix the leak, that's $30, $50 every month in your pocket right here. So first, saving money automatically, and then also second, finding like inefficiencies in your home, helping you with your contract, doing the financial calculations, how you can save money. And like that, we are actually in our pilot studies able to save, for a family of 4, around $1,000 every month, every year. So that really is significant.
Yes, it is. Okay, so let's drill down a little bit more then. I understand how you can sense water flow. In theory, I mean, it's crazy that you can do that with a sensor there without cutting into the pipe. But is it just it's an averaging the amount of flow going through there, and then when there is a leak, let's say it doesn't start with the leak, because that would be confusing if there were already a leak and then your baseline is wrong to begin with. But you then have some sort of a leak and it knows, okay, there's more steady flow through this that shouldn't be there. Is that how that would that AI would figure that out, or am I getting that wrong?
It's partly right. So what we can do is, for example, let's say you like you use your shower or the toilet, and then it's refilling. And after that, we see like a very interesting signature of water that follows this refill. So we see whenever it's refilling, after that, there is like kind of a, like decreasing water flow that follows that refilling. So suddenly we realize, okay, something is wrong with this specific point. Okay. Maybe if we are able to look at this specific toilet or shower a bit closer, we find that there is a leak. And that's what our algorithms do. The same, by the way, also, for example, if we take the water heater, like your heating element make it worse and worse heating. And we can catch that because we know, last week you put in 1 kilowatt hour to heat by so and so many Fahrenheit. This week you put in twice the amount. So something is wrong with your heating element. And that's how like PowerX not only can find leaks, find ways where you're inefficient, but also pinpoint it quite specifically to something that like a very specific appliance or outlet. And in the case of water heating, for example, PowerX can even automatically correct for it and save money.
Okay. We'll continue our conversation with Manuel Schoenfeld after a short break.
Do you want superior smart home automation at a great value? Shelly WiFi Relays by Alterco Robotics cover DC to line voltage, allowing you to control lights, outlets, appliances, garage doors, pumps, and much more. There are Shelly sensors and power measurement devices to help you measure temperature, humidity, lux, or motion, and electrical consumption from single wire to 3-phase with neutral. You can use Shelly with a licensed driver for Control 4, Elon, or other premium systems, as well as your customer's existing hub, voice assistant, or any platform that accepts REST, MQTT, or CoAP. Shelly can make IoT very easy. Available now at Blackwire, City Electric Supply, and Worthington, or at shellyusa.com.
Welcome back. I'm talking with Manuel Schoenfeld, founder and CEO of PowerX. Manu, there was you were just talking about how you can monitor the different devices in the home, and you also mentioned this pilot program that's saving a family of 4, I think you said, $1,000 a year. What were those discoveries, and how were they able to save that money specifically in those pilot programs? Can you get a little bit more into how those results were found?
Fantastic questions. So, on the one hand, there's the water heating part, and I think that's really important to realize. When you look at, for example, heating and cooling, like HVAC, it's very clear to people. You can put in a Nest, you can put in a smart thermostat, and that helps with optimizing how you spend money on like cooling and heating. Now, water heating actually uses nearly as much energy to heat your water every day, but it's like the stepchild that energy efficiency companies have not yet touched. So what we can do is that we actually learn what temperature, how much hot water do you actually prefer as a user? Do you really need? Like, do you need hot water that will serve a family like with 10 members? Or is like a hot water temperature enough for like 2 people? And then we heat exactly as much water as you need for the times when you need it. There's always this buffer of a shower to in there. So that is saving quite a lot from the outside. And the second point is, imagine a water heater. They're really dumb boilers. Like they just, heat up, cool down, heat up, cool down. Now let's say you're on vacation or you have a family home. The water heater doesn't know. Right. It just continues heating up, cooling down, heating up, cooling down. And we can stop that. So we can virtually just stop the water heater in this period of time. So in a way, we make water heating really, really smart and automatic. And that is very significant because water heating is virtually one of the largest spending items on your utility bill. The second, well, that was already way like 1, 2, 3, 4. But the second big bucket on how we can save money is by identifying drains of electricity, drains of water. Like one thing is water leaks, and you can imagine like an average household easily can have leaks or inefficiency, like leaky toilets or so, like that cost them 20 to 30% of their water bill. That's what we can identify and virtually pretty much in month 1, save you that money. And then the same on the electric side. There's something called vampire drain, like devices that should be off but are not. And then finally, what we can do, the third big bucket to save money, is that you very often have like some contract you can change or like a time of use contracting. Like in New York, for example, in other states, the price per kilowatt hour may be twice or even 3 times as high at certain points in time. If we know that, if we know you have such a contract, we can virtually tell your water heater, well, don't heat up at 8 a.m. because it costs twice as much. Just heat up at 5 a.m., keep the water warm, and when you shower at 8 a.m., the water is warm, you just paid half for your water heating.
So how would you identify a vampire drain on power? How would it specifically, if you're going out of, your sensors are at the breaker, how does it then identify there's this one device, it's in the bedroom and it shouldn't be on all day long, it should just be powered down because it's not being used or something like that? How would it identify that such a specific item?
So for electricity specifically, what we do is that we measure the 2 mains, like the 2 main wires that actually draw electricity, and then we are on such a nanosecond level that we can virtually see certain signatures that you can say, okay, this signature tends to be a washing machine. That's like a very clear signature of a washing machine. Or that signature is like something like an old DVD player or whatever it may be. And we then make, this signature of a device clearer in that we look at our water device. For example, if you have a signature we're not very clear about, it might be a dishwasher or it might be a washing machine. But then we can add the water, we see a certain pattern in the water usage, and we can use that to say, okay, this definitely, looking at water and electricity together, is a washing machine, 99% probability. Then what we also do is that for some buildings or for some customers, we offer them not only the 2 clamps around those main cables, but also around the circuit breakers. And then you start to know, okay, we have this vampire drain, we have this device that's always on and sucking out power, circuit breaker kitchen. So you should look at this device. It's probably a coffee grinder, and it will be in your kitchen. Go look for it. That's how we can identify at I would say market-leading precision, not only what kind of device we're talking about, but also where they are located.
So the interface then has probably calls to action for the homeowner to say, this is what you need to talk to a plumber about, or this is what you need to talk to an electrician about. That type of advice, is that how that follow through then would work?
Yeah, it has like three things happening. The first one is that it virtually shows you how much money you save. Like there's virtually a counter, PowerX automatically in the background saved you, let's say $500, and you see this counter going up. And then also, because our mission from the very onset was, we also want to save like carbon emissions, pro climate change. So we also have this, CO2 counter going up, and how much CO2 we saved for you, how much carbon footprint reduction there was for you.
Okay.
And that's automatic. Then the second thing is, yes, as you say, a call for action. That not only happens in the app, but you virtually get this on your mobile phone as like this alert. Hey, we just figured out A or B. If you do this, if you try this out, that's how much you will save. So we even already like calculate for the user how much they would save. And then what we are looking for as a third point is that we make it super easy for a user to implement. Either they can just say, sure, like send a handyman. So we integrate with that, send a handyman. It will cost $100, but it will save me $200, and he will fix my toilet. Or even like, lovely, here's the way how you can fix a shower head. So the call to action, but we also make sure a user can actually follow up with it and do the financial calculation on how much he or she will save.
Right. Okay. Now to the thing that I had sort of teased at the beginning that caught my eye, which is turning your water heater into battery storage to put more power back in the grid. So explain what that exactly means in the system for PowerX.
For sure. If you think about a water heater, like hot water is virtually like some form of energy. Again, we are power to X, electricity or gas converted to hot water in this water heater. And how much then can a water heater really save or store? It turns out it can store nearly as much as a Tesla wall battery. And it draws nearly as much power, like for example, a heating element of a water heater is about 4.5 kilowatt. It draws nearly as much power as a Tesla wall battery. So you can use this water heater as a storage device for electricity. That's what we do. The difference is, if you buy PowerX, for a water heater, it's $200. You can go on our website, powerx.co, and then just buy this device, and it converts your water heater to a smart water heater, it converts your water to a battery. The Tesla water battery, on the other hand, is like, I would say $10,000, $13,000 investment, including installation. So it's like $200 versus $12,000, and it's like a very simple, straightforward installation versus a bit of work to get that done. And that's also the reason, really, why senior executives from Tesla, from SpaceX, and so on have invested in us. It's really easy. So really, all you have to do is like go on our website and powerx.co, and then just click here to buy.
So everything is available for purchase now. I know that you were doing some capital raising and things like that, but you've had some rounds of financing. So is it everything's available for purchase now?
Things are available for pre-order.
Pre-order, okay.
The pre-order, the reason being that we virtually already on pre-order already sold like near 5,000 units. So we have to ramp up production to keep up with demand.
Okay. We
have like a couple of 10,000 units where people say, hey, like, could you send me a suite for testing like 10 homes, and if I love it the way I loved your prototype, I would like to build this into the 800 multifamily homes we are managing.
Right.
So that's why we do pre-orders, and we kind of have a queue to fill on powerx.co. But yes, we are already about to ship out.
Like everything right now, there's a slight delay in production, so it's understandable with the way things are in the world. But my question also kind of touches on what you just said about these maybe volume orders. So you see this as potentially something that a builder might purchase and install at the beginning of a home construction, but then do you also look to partner perhaps with a lot of the folks who are my audience, who are custom integrators or installers, who might see this as an opportunity to expand their reach into being smart home solutions providers?
Oh, absolutely. And I see that for three reasons. Number one, we wake up more and more in terms of climate change and the importance to make a difference there. And I think you can really not only differentiate yourself as an installer, but also do the right thing by saying, hey, there's this suite. It saves about the equivalent of what 5 to 7 fully grown trees can sequester every year. So I would like to build that into your home, to help you build it in. It's really innovative. Saves you money as well. It pays for itself in like 6-7 months. A really great value proposition an installer can bring with it. Mm-hmm. Then the second reason is also, because there's this trusted installer that knows what to do. So I think for an installer, there are just these multiple benefits of A, doing the right thing, contributing in the fight against climate change, B, offering something really innovative that saves their customers money, that helps them with their carbon footprint, and then also C, it's virtually helping them with leads if they are high quality installers.
Right. And just to clarify on the pricing, everything seemed very reasonably priced. So you have a package of the 3 sensors, it looks like, that you offer. And what was the price on that again?
Sure. So at the moment, we sell the entire suite. So that's PowerX Water, PowerX Electricity, PowerX Heater for like gas or electric heaters. The entire suite for $399. And that's actually very, very cheap in comparison to anything else that's out there. Because that when you count in this hub that we have, that is like the 4th unit, and that builds this amazing long-range communication protocol. So you don't need to like pull an antenna anywhere, or you don't need a repeater or anything. So when you count it in, you have 4 units, and that means about $99 per unit. Mm-hmm. I think that's about nearly a market-leading price of what I've seen so far. And when you combine it with the fact that our technology is very much sophisticated, in several cases nearly a generation ahead, more precise than what's out there, and like more comprehensive than what you see usually, that you can run it on battery for up to 5 years, like then suddenly you're not only ahead in price, you're also ahead in hardware, in the insights, and you actually save this amount of money in like about half a year. So that becomes a really, really interesting value proposition. And that's why we have these pre-orders live on our website, powerx.co, already.
Well, it's an exciting product, and it's a very valuable addition to a smart home, and for so many reasons, not to mention just our Earth needs it. And I really appreciate Manu taking the time today. I've learned a lot. I hope you have great success with PowerX. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very, very much, Jeremy.
Manuel Schoenfeld is founder and CEO of PowerX. You can learn more about the brand at powerx.co. And that wraps up today's show. If you're new to Residential Tech Talks, be sure to share, subscribe, and rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts. And check out all the latest residential tech news at restechtoday.com, where you can also subscribe to our Tuesday and Friday newsletters. Until next time, please stay safe, stay inspired, and let us know if you have a great story to tell.
Residential Tech Talks, lighting specialist, residential tech.
Home automation, smart device, home or smart house.